I don't exist. I am an idea, a concept, an illusion. What do I mean by this? Well, ever since I've delved deeper into metaphysics and theology and theory of mind, I realized that I am a materialist. I believe that there isn't anything outside of the material world. I don't believe in the immaterial. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the afterlife. I don't believe in a soul. I don't believe in a consciousness that exists on some other field of reality than what is material. And by extension, I don't believe in me as a real thing outside of my body, right? I believe that the experience of personhood, of being someone, of emotions, and of memories are all faculties, miraculous faculties of the brain. But again, I don't really exist. Like, I'm just a concept, right? I'm a machine. Like, I fundamentally believe that, sunflowers turning their head towards the sun, I'm a fucking crazy ass complex sunflower. Like, my brain is like, again, the brain, you watching this right now, you have a brain. Like, in your head, you have the most complex thing in the entire universe, the most unexplainable thing that humans have ever run into, even though it's what we use to think. That's juxtaposition of, the only thing we can understand is what we use to understand things. That's pretty poetic. But anyways, that's what I believe. I believe that we like I am nothing else than just what my body is. Now let's do one of my favorite thought experiments together. Just to kind of illustrate what I mean by this, to make it a little bit more clear for y'all who maybe don't think about this as much as I do on a daily basis. So first of all, let's say I chop off your legs, right? Bang. I don't know. Like, I just have like what's it called? Gojo's ability. I haven't read the manga that far, man. Cleave something, or maybe that's Sukuna. I don't know. I fucking cleave off your legs. Sorry, but it's for the experiment. So, I cleave off your legs. Are you still you? Yeah. If I cut off your arms, are you still you? Yeah. If I then replace your heart and your intestines with a pacemaker and some other type of track that it's not yours but it like works, are you still you? Yeah. What if I then, let's say, again, hypothetically, all this has been hypothetical, I cut off your head, I decapitate you, right? But then I put your head into a vat that simulates a body that pumps up blood with oxygen and with the nutrients that you need to survive and to think and to like experience. Are you still you? Intuitively, yes. What if I then remove all of your senses? I make you blind, I make you deaf, I remove your sense of smell and taste and touch. Are you still you? Yeah, I think intuitively we can all agree that, yeah, you're still you because you still have your memories, emotion, whatever. Okay, now what if I give everything back? You get everything back. You're you again, like you have everything, all right? Then if I go and lobotomize you, I start messing around with your brain, like actual physically in your brain. Are you still you? I think most of all intuitively would say no. I think when we start messing with the brain, we are like infringing on our own personhood because that's what we actually like. That's where the things are stored. And that's what I'm trying to get to. And I think you understand that already, that the brain is the center of the self. And we can figure that out a priori just from intuition. So, what do we do from here? Well, first of all, it's quite interesting that we associate so much with a physical part of our body if it is the case that there is something immaterial going on. Because the conclusion here would have been that if there is something immaterial that is like me, then first of all, it has to exist in the brain, right? But then the weird thing is like, okay, but how can I, like, how does it make sense that I am able to interact with the self if it's on a different plane of existence than your physical constitution? That doesn't make any sense. Then I shouldn't be able to access that immaterial thing or like alter it or change it or decrease its capabilities. So either, and we'll get to this a little bit later, either you say that consciousness or like this immaterial thing isn't actually immaterial and it's in the physical world, and that consciousness in a way is like intrinsic to the material itself. That's called non-dualism. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But isn't that weird, right? That I can go into your physical body and mess with your brain and then alter you. That seems to point towards, that we are physical beings. Like our self just resides in the brain, and it's just the faculties of the brain that give you this experience. And this is part of what's called the interaction problem in mind-body dualism, which basically says that, okay, if we say that the body, which is made of, material substance, is fundamentally different to, like, it's made of fundamentally different stuff. It's not even the same realm. They can't even interact. Like the self, the mind is immaterial. And why do they interact like they do? Why do I have something up here that's like conscious, if that were to be the case? And I think it doesn't make much sense. I think there's a lot of problems going on there. Like, okay, why doesn't my consciousness just float over to my friend? Why can I not think his thoughts if it's like, or what's going on here? So that's a counter argument to mind body dualism. But there are a lot of other metaphysics for theory of mind that are out there. But my proposition here would be just to say, quite simply and quite basic, I'm not a scholar here, so the brain is just a miracle, and that's what's inducing this experience of consciousness, this experience of selfhood, personhood, of emotions and memories and all that stuff. And I think I'm fine with that, and some people have an intuitive problem with, like, it doesn't feel that good to say that, like, there's nothing going on. It's just a brain, it's just a mind, it's just matter. Like these dead atoms, these dead, like, unconscious atoms just come together to create not a consciousness, but just a machine. Like in the same way that a camera, if you look at your phone, you open the camera app, you see the world through the camera. I think in the same kind of way you see the world through your eyes. It's not like it's a conscious thing. It's just that that's what it does, and it feeds into the machine. And the brain is the mastermind. The brain is the mastermind, yeah, behind all this, and that coordinates all of your sensory inputs. So that's what I believe, and I'm fine with that, But again, some people find it hard to swallow that pill just intuitively because you want there to be something other than just your material being. And I understand that. And for me, that's a problem as well, in some sense, right? Like we want there to be something more. We want to be special, but I don't think we are that special. I don't think we are different from our other sentient beings in nature, and I don't think we are different from nature at all. I think we are a part of nature. And there's a lot of, like, I listened to a podcast yesterday about materialism with Alex O'Connor and some guy, and it was really interesting. I didn't really get, like, his point of view though. Like he was talking about some mental states, like that's what the world is made of, and I don't know, man. I'm not good enough yet to understand that immediately what he's talking about. Maybe it will get clear in the comments if you tell me. Yeah, so that's what I believe right now. And let's do another experiment, though, because there are some valid counter arguments to this that do stump me as well. So let's see. If you close your eyes, I'm going to close my eyes too. Then I want you to imagine a triangle. And when I imagine a triangle, I imagine a green outline of a triangle. It's spinning, it's like hovering, spinning lightly to the left. Like counterclockwise, right? And I see this triangle very clearly. Like I see it in front of me right now. But if you open my brain, if I did some surgery, I just open your skull, then I wouldn't see the triangle you're thinking of. And if you did it to me, you wouldn't see the green spinning triangle in my head either. And so but in some sense it exists still. Okay, but then we can talk about, okay, but what if we did a brain scan while you were visualizing the triangle? It's like, okay, then we might see a part of the brain lighting up. Sure. Okay, so we can see kind of the physical processes that are required for you to be able to have this experience of visualizing the triangle. But I can't access the actual picture of the triangle itself, yet you see it. And we can imagine very complex things in our minds. Like I can imagine this triangle changing color, shape. It can become 3D if I want to. It can interact with other objects. But yes, so that's really interesting. And like this, because there is a problem, like the actual experience. Like I was talking about looking through the camera, that's how you look through your eyes. And I think that's an interesting point that I have. But then again, like the experience of happiness and sadness, for example, like because of course we know like what hormones and what kind of parts of the brain correspond to different emotions and different mental states. But then again, we can't actually like extrapolate the experience of sadness or happiness or bliss or depression. It's like the actual thing itself, the experience of it is difficult to grasp as like a physical concept. So in that sense, you might start thinking about some non-dualism, which basically says that consciousness is an intrinsic quality of everything in nature, or like the entire universe and everything in it. So all the matter, right? And that if arranged properly, the matter in the universe can express its consciousness. For example, in humans, you have we have our faculties in the brain. The brain is a crazy ass thing, and it gives us the faculties together with our senses to be able to express our consciousness. And I'm very careful with my words here. I'm not saying that our brains give us, or like our physical constitution manifests our consciousnesses that are immaterial, because that's not really what non-dualism is saying. It's saying it's like in the physical nature of things is consciousness. Fundamentally, at the smallest part of everything is consciousness. But yeah, theory of mind is very, very interesting. It's crazy how little we know about what we are. Lastly, thinking about like dreams and thoughts, again, back to the triangle and back to dreams is very interesting, for example, like because you experience dreams, but you can't, they don't exist physically. And again, you might look into the brain, you might say, okay, like what is firing, like what parts of the brain, what neurons are firing when you dream. Sure, cool, we can see it physically, but we can't actually experience the dream and we can't see the dream. However, if I kill you in your sleep while you're dreaming, you stop dreaming. I think that's intuitively right. So in some sense, it's still physical. It's still a physical process. And when you die, you don't you disappear. I think that's something very important to remember. Like even if I have a problem defining everything materially, it's still like nothing works if you don't have a brain, right? And there's no evidence that I've ever found of there being anything after your death, after all the faculties in your body shut off, right? Because then you no longer are. Again, I believe that you are nothing more than your physical constitution. So that would make sense that when you die, that when your body, stops working, then you stop existing, in the sense that you don't go on to exist in any sense. You know what I mean? Like you have no consciousness anymore. Yeah, that was my rant about theory of mind. Please, 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 if you have any kind of experience talking about this or studying this, tell me in the comments what you think, and if you oppose materialism, why? I'm interested to hear that. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. See ya.